Alrighty, this week I'm back and we're going to do a video this time on the LX TORANA hatchback that we built. So winding back the clock now, I think it was about 9 years. So in 2016 we set out to try and find ourselves an LX hatchback TORANA and do a full bare metal restoration. So we've gone ahead and done that. We've ticked off a lot of boxes along the way. The car copped a full restoration here at home in the shed. We've had some good help from people along the way, and it's turned out bloody good. So we've done the show thing, we've ticked off that box. We took it to Summer Nats freshly after finishing the car, and that went really well. We ended up making the top 60 with this car, which is a big achievement, especially for something that was built in the shed at home, just with the skills and with my dad. So it's a pretty special car. We had a car very similar to this when I was a kid, and my mum used to drive it every day to work, and it was a factory 5-litre canary yellow SS hatchback, yeah, with aircon. So it was pretty cool to do a build like this, where it's more of the pro streeter style that we like to do. So we're gonna flick the camera around, get into this car, and we can show you all what it's all about.
Good stop.
Alrighty, so here she is. She's come a long way since we first obviously purchased the car. We've done a few changes over the last couple of weeks in terms of the setup of the car and just sorting out a few niggling issues which we thought would obviously help get us that 9-second time slip. So we're just rocking the V series this time out, so I've swapped them off of my own car to something a little bit different to change the look, and it obviously makes it look pretty angry with the black and the yellow, so they suit the car well. I started front on and then got a bit enticed after seeing it just to change it up from the normal billet specialties. These are probably, I don't know, pretty similar in weight, but maybe a little bit lighter, but they just look really good behind the wheeled brakes as well, and looks a bit racy. So we had to change the tires on the back anyway, as we just came back from roll racing. So we had a PSR 255/60 on the back, and then to take it to the track and race it this weekend over at Heathcote for the Holden Nationals, we've just fitted up a set of the ET Street S&S, which we've had on the car since we finished it. So we're going to see how that goes. They are date coded 2021, so we're going to see how that goes. Hopefully it hooks up and doesn't miss a beat. But so we've just finished putting them on the car. Looks pretty trick. We've also gone ahead and changed the gears in the diff. Last time we raced this car, it went 10-0, 135 up at the bend with a few issues. So it took off out of the hole like a bit of a slug. Well, it felt good in the car. You watch it back on the video and it looks like it's just taken off from a set of lights on the road. So I've gone ahead and fitted up 4 5.7s now, a set of pro gears to the diff. It's running a strange nodular iron sounder with like a billet pinion support and 31 spline axles. So we've just gone ahead and had the trans, just finished freshening up the trans. We had a few issues here and there with the transmission. Initially we built a gearbox with a reverse pattern and trans brake, but we ended up removing the trans brake as we had an issue with the style that was put in the box. This time around, hopefully, this is the 4th time doing it, but hopefully it's in there for the last time. So we've just finished doing that. It's trans brake now again with a no engine brake, reverse pattern with all the fruit ready to go. It's running a TCE 6000 stall converter. It actually surprisingly drives and runs very well on the street. And of course the infamous 358 SB2.2 NASCAR engine under the engine bay. So speaking about a few of the changes along the way, I'm going to insert a video from the in-car from up at the bend when we first raced this car. Would have to have been nearly over a year ago or more now, but running the 411 gears and a 3-inch reverse cow scoop. So there's some of the changes you might pick up that we've changed now visually with the bonnet that's done as well. So when we raced it, from a personal experience inside the car, it felt like it was nosing over. And I've seen this with a few times, especially with TORANAs and A9X scoops and things like that, where the carby, we could only fit a 1-inch spacer, whereas it was dynoed with a 2-inch. So preferably we'd like to run the 2-inch. Now we just couldn't fit that because the carby was too close to the bonnet. So when we raced it with a 3-inch cow and a 1-inch spacer, the carby was only maybe 15 mil away from the bonnet. And I feel that was creating a bit of a turbulence or a cavitation with the fuel supply and air. And was just choking it up. So we've gone ahead and done another bonnet. This time it is all steel, so I have to use like a little pole just to hold it up in the meantime, because obviously the gas struts on the billet bonnet hinges are only there to support a lightweight fiberglass bonnet. Since doing the bonnet, it's just painted in a base canary yellow. It hasn't been clear coated. It's literally just to get us to the Holden Nationals this weekend. And then after that, we'll put the bonnet back the way it was, hopefully in mind that we've got that 9-second pass. So we've beefed up the transmission like I was saying. You'll also see in that video there's a bit of a shift delay. So between, I think it was first, second and top, you'd shift the gears and then just feel like you'd have to wait until it would select it. So there was obviously a bit of time being lost there ET wise. So we've sharpened that up. The gearbox has been sorted out and dynoed. and it's feeling much better. So when you shift now, it actually shifts. Additional as well, we've added obviously that trans brake. As before, I was building up to about 3.5 on the foot brake and then taken off. So hopefully, if we can get it to hook, the addition of the new diff gears with 4.5/7s and a trans brake, it doesn't have a 2-step, so we're gonna have to probably try. I'd like to try it at 6,000 off the trans, off of the converter, and see if it hooks up. But if it doesn't, we'll just work around it. And obviously suspension wise as well, it is all pretty much standard. It's got Gemini rear shocks in it. It's got standard like arm pickup points all in the diff. And to the roll arm wise, we're running a United Speed Shop top arm, which is adjustable, and I think that the bottom arms are Pro 9. Front end suspension wise is just all standard. I think there's stock height springs with standard brand new shockers and all new bushes and whatnot. So we'll get into giving you a look under the bonnet. I've just propped it up now with the little rod like I was saying, and we'll give you a look under the hood. So since we first finished this car, we initially purchased the engine. It was running about 12.5 to 1 compression ratio on E85, which was killer. It sounded wild. It was pretty radical. I'll insert a video of this thing running or just idling in the driveway, and you can hear how choppy that is. After a while running the E85, it was, you know, a little bit on the rich side, and it did start to glaze the bores, unfortunately, and they ended up like a mirror. So what happened was we ended up getting like an oily residue coming out of the tailpipes, and the engine has been rebuilt. So since purchasing it and putting it in the car, it dynoed over in America, 720 horsepower on MS109 with obviously more comp and whatnot. Had titanium valves in it, which we've taken all out now and changed those to stainless for the street. Had the engine freshened up over in Victoria by James Melmoth at MCE Engines. He's done a wicked job. We've pulled a bit of comp out of it now. It's only down to 11 to 1, but we can drive this thing everywhere. Can fill up at any servo, put 98 octane in it, and drive this thing, like I said, from here, there, or everywhere. Whereas before, the E85 was a bit of a pain in the bum, and you'd have to pick and choose where you got fuel, and it was also very expensive on fuel. Whereas now, it's tuned and running nice. It's been engine dynoed, and it runs like a clock. And I wanted to touch on as well, putting an SB2 in this car was a bit of a drama, as the car in the engine bay was already completely painted before we decided to go down this avenue. And knowing that it had to have big pipes and whatnot, we didn't want to go cutting up the chassis rails or, you know, affecting any of the works that we'd already done. But thankfully, it came with pipes to suit LX TORANA, which is one of the reasons why we bought this combo. It all slotted in really well. So being an SB2, if you're familiar with them and how they look in a NASCAR, they're always pretty messy. There's a lot going on in the engine bay, especially if they're dry sumped. You got hoses running here, there, and everywhere. Whereas we're a bit opposite to that. We like to do a bit less with, or a bit more with less, sorry. And so the engine bay at the moment, as you'll see, it looks pretty plain. So everything's hidden. There's no wiring. There's no brake lines. There's no ugly hoses running from this side of the engine bay and across and back and forwards. It's just been put in to look like any other small block, or some people as they think is a big block. But yeah, runs an external wet sump, so that obviously there's a little oil pump down here which picks up from the sump, sucks it through, and then it runs over to the other side where we've got a clear view filtration system, and then that goes into the engine. So it works really well. It's nothing over the top, and being a streeter, we didn't really want to have a dry sump either, as it's obviously not going to be revving at 8,000 all day long, but it definitely does the job. So in the back here, this is just under the factory spare wheel well. So this is normally where the spare wheel would sit from factory. We're running a factory LX fuel tank, but we've modified it to take a Raceworks fuel pump hanger setup. So inside here, we're running an E85 safe or EFI fuel pump, and it runs through here. We've just got this here with a fitting or with a cap on it. So if we ever want to drain the fuel and change it over to race fuel or E85 again or whatever, we can just hook up a hose and it returns out through here, or pumps through here anyway, and we can drain the fuel, top it up with fresh fuel, and go from there. We've just recently changed it, as before we had the fuel regulator sitting here in the boot, and it would tee back into the pump hanger straight away, and then we'd have it obviously running from here out of the reg and all the way up to the carby, but in the process we just wanted to eliminate any fuel running out at the front of the car. Once it worked its way all the way up to the front on had around 9 psi before, which I think is too much, so we've changed that down to 5.5 now. We'll see how that goes, and we've just fitted up the reg for the moment up here. It's got an ugly fitting which isn't full flow. We're just in the midst of changing all that, but for now it's ready to go. We're just changing some fittings today, like that'll be last minute before we head off, but closer obviously to the carby the better with a fuel reg. So now we've got it all up here. It's an EFI and carby one, so it will take you, I believe, all the way from 3 psi all the way up to 40. So we've just set that now at 6, and hopefully it eliminates any issues of emptying the carby bowls or things like that. So that's one of the other changes we've done as well, and hopefully that contributes to what we were talking about and where we're going with this car. Up the back inside that trunk, we've also just running a lithium max battery. It's nice and light, compact. You can mount them kind of any way you want, and they work really well. They've got like a little digital, hard to see, digital readout on the thing as well. So you just tap that and hold it down and you will see it's 13.3 at the moment. It hasn't been charged in a while, and we've been doing some works, but they're pretty good. They are a little bit on the expensive side, but they're nice and light. They're lithium, it's lasted a long time, and it obviously it cranks really well as well, being 900 cranking amps. In preparation for holding that, so we don't really like to have autometer gauges or aftermarket gauges sitting everywhere, but the factory tacho only goes to 7,000, and this car, or the engine made power to 8.2 on the dyno. So we want to get the shift points pretty accurate. So I've just finished setting up a Holly Sniper shift light, which works well. I think when you cycle the key, it flashes, and it's just got a digital readout on the top, so you can change that between any RPM, and I think you can find peak RPM, what it rev to, things like that. So that's pretty neat. After we finish racing the car, we'll probably take this off just to keep it nice and simple inside the car, as it's got all factory gauges. They've all been completely restored by Gauge Works in Adelaide, and obviously along with everything else in the car, new dash pad, new paint, and everywhere. So it's quite a neat car. All the door trims have been done by Winner Products. They do a really good job, along with the seat covers as well. Since having the engine rebuilt and lowering that compression ratio down a bit has affected power a little bit, but also when you lose a little bit of that power, you gain a bit of that drivability, so we can go to any servo and fill up, like I said. So before on the E85 or on MS109 with the previous compression it had, it did have dyno sheets for around the 720 to 730 from America, but they're always debatable, and you just want to be sure yourself what it actually makes. So after we've had it freshened up, now the compression ratio is around 11.5 to 1. It pumped out 685 on pump 98, and then with a bit more ignition timing and MS109, it managed to crack the 700 mark. So I think it should piss in a 9-second pass on 98. We're going to take some MS109 with us anyway, but if we can, we'll get that 9 on pump fuel on 98 octane, and then we'll change it and see if we can improve it. We are going to drop the exhaust, as it's completely stainless the whole way from front to back, and it does have 2 resis and 2 mufflers, along with 2.5-inch tailpipes from a 3-inch system. So a little bit of weight there. And of course, once you drop the pipes, this thing sounds insane. We'll head outside now and we'll fire this thing up, and you can have a listen to it, as it does sound pretty bloody good. Come down to here, we'll flick our water pump on, electric Mazia, flick the key, and ready to go. So with only 1 week left to go before Holden Nationals over at Heathcote, we had the opportunity to take the car out and test it out up at the bend for roll racing. So after doing all the changes with the bonnet, the transmission and the diff gears, we took it up there just to test it out and put it through its paces and make sure it was doing everything we needed it to do. So I'm going to drop in some footage from that. It's pretty funny, especially some of the footage from the passenger. If you get a chance, check out his eyes and watch the position of his head and the fact it doesn't move a whole lot. But it's pretty cool. Car sounds good. Car's running great. We're going to finish off the final touches now and we'll leave you with that. I hope you've all had a good time watching. I hope to see you all at Holden Nationals. If we don't catch you there, we'll catch you on the next video. Cheers guys, see ya.